Now, why do we do this session? What is the purpose of this session? So purpose of this session basically is that a lot of people want to know about SAP. Some know SAP and some don't. And that is basically this comes into the picture. And then here we come into the picture and then we define. And then this comes into the picture. So we will be discussing and talking about and go through our session for today. The purpose of the session basically is to introduce you all SAP ecosystem. Okay. And that is basically this means. So introducing you what is SAP ecosystem. SAP is, when you look at the SAP and look at the various product and solutions, it is highly confusing. And because it is very, very confusing, therefore it becomes important for us to understand that what this SAP, different product and solutions and backgrounds and different solutions, where SAP coming from, what SAP is doing, where SAP is going. So this is a weekly SAP webinar, which we do for all people coming from different backgrounds to understand, the basic background of SAP and overview of SAP and understanding the ecosystem of SAP. So fundamentally, we will be trying to understand the ecosystem of SAP. That is what we will be trying to do. Then we have a SAP product and service portfolio. We will talk about what are the SAP data and transactions. We talk about SAP S/4HANA because nowadays there's a lot of discussion about SAP S/4HANA. So what is it? Where does it fit into this whole SAP product portfolio? So we'll discuss and talk about this SAP S/4HANA as well. Then we also have a talk about intelligent enterprise. We talk about new dimensional products. So there are some new dimensional product. So we'll talk about that as well. Then we talk about SAP cloud applications. So we'll be discussing about that also. And then we have a SAP implementation and how does SAP implementation work. So we'll be discussing and talking about SAP implementation services as well. And then in the last or during session, if you have any questions, etc., you're very welcome to ask any questions which you might be having. And you can prepare questions, and any question related to SAP, I will be more than happy to assist and more than happy to answer. Okay. So thank you very much, first and foremost, and I welcome you to SAP session. Thank you, everyone. So this is basically about SAP ecosystem. And for the people who came a little late joining, so let me share my phone number, 973-885-7245. So you're very welcome to make a note of my phone number, and you're very welcome to make a note of my WhatsApp number. You can also make my email address as well, which is dsad@mythinktech.com. So you can make a note of my email address as well. Okay. And so we go from there. Before I go any further, let me also briefly introduce myself. So I have been doing SAP since 1998. So 27 years I've been doing SAP, many years. And during my implementation, I did many implementations. These are some of the implementation which I did in US and Canada and Mexico and Europe and India and many other countries. In my professional experience, I primarily work with 3 companies. And those 3 companies are basically worked into in IBM. I was associate partner in IBM in US in New York office. I was senior director with Accenture and Capgemini. Okay, so I have discussed about that as well. And so these are the 3 primary companies I worked. I don't work anywhere. Now, after working for many years, I decided to take teaching full time. Means I used to teach, last 27 years. But then what happens is, when I was working, whether it's me or anybody for that matter, when you're working and teaching in the side, then you cannot help your students. It is not possible for you to be really available. Training is few-hour class you're doing, and then you're good to go. But then what happened after training? Being available to the student, helping in the resume preparation, helping in their questions, or when people even go on a job. So when you go on a job, then you need somebody to support you. So if your faculty is working, then how it is possible for that faculty basically to being available and basically allowing that coming into the picture. Okay, so that is basically we that's why I'm available. So you are very welcome to make a note of my phone number, 973-885-7245. So I'm sure each one of you have a lot of questions. You can email it to me. This number is on WhatsApp. If you're outside of US, and if you want to contact me, then you can contact me US as well. And this is my email address at dsad@mythinkty.com. So you can email me as well. So as per your convenience, you can reach out to me whatever way we want. So now let's say when we go any further, let's talk about SAP itself. Let's take a fact sheet. What is SAP fact sheet? So few important things. One, SAP has been in the marketplace for 1972. Now, why this is important for us? Because 1972 till today, it is more than 5-decade-old company. And so that is basically comes into the picture, and it's very established company, because most of these IT companies are like 5-year and 10-year and 20 years. In context to that, SAP is more than 5 decades, 54 years now, April 1st, 1972. Now, 75,000 employee company, which basically means SAP is one of the largest software company in the world. Largest software company, one of the largest. And if you see here, 291,000 customers. So now what is the meaning of it? Meaning of that basically is that if you make a list of, let us say, top 2,000 companies, all these Pepsis and Coca-Colas and Apples and Samsungs and Verizons and T-Mobiles, BMWs and Mercedes and Nikes and Reeboks and Adidas and Colgate-Palmolive and all the different products which you use in your day-to-day life. One thing is common in all of them. All of them use SAP. So 87% of Fortune 2000 company use SAP to run their business. Now, why that is important for us is that basically means is one of the most widely dominant usage of SAP product in the marketplace. The second thing which is important here is 190 countries. So it is being used in almost every country. So a lot of people ask me, I say, I'm in US, or I'm in Canada, or I'm in Europe, and I'm in Africa, or I'm in Asia. So different people could be in different locations. And now if that is the case, then how can, so SAP is as a skill, as a knowledge, and so that basically comes into the picture, okay? And then your skill is applicable across the world. Now, coming back to product and service portfolio. So before we go any further, let me ask everyone. So is my voice and all that coming to everyone? Just you can say yes and no. And thank you all. And the recent people, and Nidhi, Saxena, Tahira, again, welcome. I think you attended my webinar multiple times, I guess, Tahira. Welcome anyways. And then Gala as well. So thank you all who joined this session. And so here, what is SAP ecosystem? Now let's understand this slide. And if you look at this carefully, this slide, then you will find that is a very busy slide. In the slide, in the center of it, and these are all various products of SAP, various products of SAP, not modules, products. Now let's understand them. So here we have something called in the center SAP ERP. ERP basically means Enterprise Resource Planning. Now, no wonder that it is on the center of the slide. The reason, because this is the central product of SAP. So when we talk about, like somebody say, I want to learn SD or FI or MM or PP or QM and all those different modules, then by all means, you're talking about this product which is called SAP ERP. When I say that all these Pepsis and Coca-Colas and all these different 87% of Fortune 2000 company using SAP, then we are talking about this product which is called SAP ERP. Now, this is the center product, but there are many other products. It has CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management, SCM, Supply Chain Management, PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, SRM, Supplier Relationship Management, SAP Marketplace, BI basically means Business Intelligence, Enterprise Portal, SAP Financials, HCM is basically Human Capital Management. Okay, and so that is basically come into the picture. Then we have SAP for Industry. Now that is another very important thing, SAP for Industry. So here, SAP basically being used in different industries. And 24 different industries SAP has been used. Aerospace and defense, automotive, retail, wholesale distribution, apparel, footwear, electronics, consumer goods, wholesale distribution. 24 different type of industries SAP being used. So you want to work in pharma, you want to work in fashion, you want to work in electronic goods, you want to work into automotive. In all these 24 different industries, SAP being used. Now, what is the meaning of it? Meaning of that is for us that your skill is applicable, SAP is applicable, your knowledge is applicable to all those different 24 industries because SAP has that much of a very prominent presence in the marketplace. Then here we have a SAP Business One, which is SAP's product for small, medium organizations. Then we have a SAP NetWeaver. And then SAP NetWeaver is basically SAP's platform where you can do all these SAP lives in this platform. And then it also has several products. Now let us understand this SAP S/4HANA, because a lot of people say, okay, what is this and where it fit into this whole product portfolio? So now look at this picture very carefully. Now, what does this picture suggest me? So this picture suggests me that SAP has, these are the 4 fundamental incarnations of SAP. 4 fundamental incarnations of SAP. Now let us understand that. Okay. So here we have a SAP R2, which came in 1979, SAP R3, 1992, SAP ECC, 2004, SAP S/4HANA, 2015. These are the evolution and versions of same product. So which basically means it's like a window, window 11, window 10, window 8, window XP, window this, window that. Same is the same window, but different versions. That is what this basically means. So we have a SAP R2. It was 2-layer architecture, came in 1979. Then came SAP R3 in 1992. R3 basically means 3-layer architecture. Because of the 3-layer architecture, it used to be called R3. Then came SAP ECC, or Enterprise Central Component. This was basically a network which came into 2004, so SAP was web enabled. Then in 2015, SAP came as S4HANA. S4HANA is the latest version of ERP. These are the four different. So ERP is the central version, is the central product, and in the central product of ERP, these are the four major versions, products within that. So SAP S4HANA is nothing but SAP next version of SAP ECC. Same product, some changes, obviously, and it's like Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows XP in this. Now this is another view of product evolution, which we have seen as a part of it. And then here we have, so here we can define, we can have all these different versions, etc. And then we can, and if you look at this picture here, then we can also look into it. We have SAP R2, which is a mainframe system. Then came R3. So R2 died and R3 came. And then with the R3's architecture is SAP basis. Okay. And then came SAP 4.7. Then came SAP Enterprise version 4.7. Then when 4.6 came, which was many years now, actually 2001, 2002, then SAP came with a two product. One of them is called CRM, Customer Relationship Management, and then in APO, Advanced Planner and Optimizer. And then we have the latest version. So that basically means, and here we have so we can define here another versions, and that is basically is called SAP ECC. So when you're planning to learn FI, SD, MM, PP, QM, and all those different modules, then you're planning to learn some part of this monster, which is called SAP ERP. This is the product which you would be basically be learning. Okay, and this is the core product. And this SAP ERP product sits on this platform, which is called SAP NetWeaver. And then along with that, we also have a customer relationship management. And then we have a SRM. And so, so we have all these and then we can have all these different product as a part of ERP. So CRM, SRM, SCM, PLM, HCM, etc. But this is the central product. So when you're learning some, FI, SD, MM, PP, and all those different modules, you're planning to learn some part of this monster, which is called, that is called SAP ERP. Okay. Now let's understand this. This is SAP S4HANA architecture. Okay, so that basically means how SAP S4HANA is structured. That is what we can define and decide, and that is how it works. Now let's understand this. And here we have and we see there are certain colors. This is the architecture of SAP S4HANA, which is the latest ERP of SAP. So what is the architecture? So the green color, red color, yellow color, purple color, right? Green is logistic, red is finance, yellow is HR, and then these are purple are technical aspect. And almost entire SAP is written in a programming language that is called ABAP, Advanced Business Application Programming. Now, if I see this, and if I log into SAP, so first and foremost, how do we log into SAP? So you can log into SAP now through multiple options. And one of the option here is, we call it SAP Logon Pack. And if you click on it and you hit enter login, and then you can put your ID, you can put your password, and then you can log in. So each one of you, this is SAP S4HANA through SAP GUI. And you have other user interfaces also. Now, this is how SAP look like anywhere in the world. So now if you see here, then we have a green, and in the green we have a logistic, and this is called SAP Easy Access. Now if we look at it in logistic, then these are different modules in logistic: materials management, sales and distribution, logistics execution, production, plant maintenance, etc. Then here in the red, we have different finance module. And if we go back here in the accounting, then these are various modules as part of finance. And then here we have, modules like we have a different financial market. So we have a financial accounting, financial supply chain, controlling, enterprise controlling, and various other financial different modules. Okay. So that is what various module coming into the picture. Okay. And so this is the portfolio of the various modules. And there are many other modules as well. And that basically, and we go to the accounting. And then here we have a HR. So we see that here, there is a HR. And then below the HR, we have information system, which basically means different type of reportings. And for the reporting, there are different tools, strategic enterprise management, this, that. You want to see the, different reporting for finance and sales and purchase. And this is all for finance and different modules. So you can have all these different reporting. Now, there's one very interesting thing which you see here is, if you look at carefully, which is, so these are different empty boxes. Okay. So we have extensions. So here in the extension, now if you look at the empty boxes, means each module, SD, FI, MM, PP, Q, all these different modules can be extended. When you're learning SAP, what you're learning? When you're learning SAP, you're learning two things. One, what is in the box. So different functions and capacities and capability, which is within the function, that is the first thing you learn. Second, you learn that what is basically, how can we configure, how can we extend. Okay. So that is basically, now if you look at here in the bottom, there is a tools. So here we have we can have a different part of tools. The one of them here we have is ABAP Workbench. In ABAP Workbench, we have if somebody is a programmer, and you can go to ABAP editor and can write a program create. You're not a programmer, that's not the thing. Now, as a functional consultant, we don't do programming. Then what we do? So we learn the system behavior and the capability in the system. And the second is basically about customizing. In that we can have this is called SAP reference IMG. This is where the all configuration is. Okay. Okay. So we can have various IMG implementation guide. Now this is the where all configuration for all modules is done. Now that is the second thing, which is what we learn. Okay. So here we have various configuration for various module. So configuration of finance. If you're in SD, then your configuration related to SD module. If you are in MM, then related to MM module, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that is the configuration. We learn these two things: what is in the box, and then we learn how to configure. We don't learn programming. We are not becoming a programmer. Now, what are the different modules which are there in SAP? You can log into SAP, and if you want to log off also, and it's a log off, you can log off also. You can log in, you can log off, and you need ID and password. And each one of you will have access to SAP server, live server, for during training and after training for 1 year. So you have a very much more than 1 year access to practice and be good at it. Because at the end of the day, we can have a so that is basically so that is the region. Okay, this is what basically means. Okay, now let's look at some of these modules. Okay, so what is there in these modules? So in these modules, we have a finance module, controlling module, human resource module, and many others. We'll talk about all of them. Then we have a sales and distribution module, production planning module, materials management module, customer service module, project system module, warehouse management module, and quality management module, plant management module. And there are many, many more. They are not all. Now, what is there in the finance? So we go back, if you go to accounting, and here we have financial accounting. In the financial accounting, you have all these different functions: general ledger accounting, account receivable, account payable, paying to customer, receiving the money from customer, paying to the vendors, bank accounting, asset accounting, ledger, balance sheet, trial balance, P&L, taxation. And that is all part of financial accounting. Then the second thing which we have here is a controlling. In the controlling, we can do a different aspect of controlling here. In the controlling, we can define different functions and aspects of controlling. Now, what is there in the controlling? So if we go to controlling, then you can define, and we can have something in that. And, so basically means, and now these are the, so we can have define, various aspects of controlling: cost element accounting, cost set accounting, internal order, product costing, profitability, profit center accounting, etc., etc. So these are the various accounting functions and principles which we can have in SAP, and that is where the controlling come into the picture. Then see, there is HR module, and then we go to HR. So in the bottom, there is a human resource or HR module also. Now there is another module which is very important, is sales and distribution. Now, so we have a sales and distribution module, and in the sales document module, we have we can have how we can do, and why sales and distribution module is important. Let us talk about that. Sales and distribution module is important because it has all processes facing customer. Because for a company, customer matters. And that is why sales and distribution module is important, because it has a processes facing customer. So if we see that selling to customer, shipping to customer, transporting goods, billing, electronically connecting with the customer, etc. So if we go back here, and the sales is a logistic, and here we have a sales and distribution, and where we have master data, sales support, sales process, shipping process, transportation process, billing process, credit management, etc. And this is basically, okay, and that basically means come into the picture, okay, and that is basically, and So here we can have all these various functions in sales and distribution module. Then there's the production planning. Production planning is another important module, especially for the company who are in manufacturing. So you can do various process in production. So what is there in the production? Master data, sales operation planning, demand planning, production planning, material requirement planning, shop floor, capacity planning, repeat manufacturing, Kanban, product costing, etc. Okay, this is all part of production. And within the each, there's huge functions, and is a very, very important module which is being used quite extensively. That is what. Then there is a we have a materials management. Now, materials management is another important module of SAP. Okay. So now, why materials management module is important? So material management module is important because every company will have a materials. You may be manufacturing, you are a retail company, wholesale distribution companies. So for all those different companies, you can have, materials management module. Okay. And that is where materials management come into the picture. Another very, very important module of SAP. Now, why this module is important? Because in every company, there are some materials. Every company will have certain materials. And because it will have certain materials, that is where the materials management module come into the picture. And what is there in the materials management module? So let's look at it. So we go to materials management. It is purchasing, inventory management, invoice verification, physical inventory, valuation, planning, services, material master, product catalog. And these are all different. And within each, there are a lot of significant functions. So extensive functionality in each one of them. Okay. And everything is menu driven. You can knock and go to the different modules, and you can see all these functions which we can have. And that's where the materials management is. Okay. Materials management. Then we have customer service. Okay. And here we can have a customer service. You sold the product. If there's any problem, you can have a customer service. You can have a project system module. You can have a warehouse management module. Now, warehouse management is another important and core module of SAP. Because everywhere you go in, or you see Costco and Walmart and Kmart and JCPenney's and all that, they are nothing but the warehouses. And that's where the warehouse management module is another important module of SAP. Then we have a quality management module and plant maintenance and many more. So these are the various modules which are there in SAP. Now, outside of this product and outside of this, there is also, is my voice coming to everyone? Just wanted to verify. If anybody face any questions, there's a question section, and you can utilize that to ask me if anybody has any questions or any issues facing about this. Okay. 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 And then we have a CRM, Customer Relationship Manager. So CRM is a separate product of SAP. So that is another product of SAP. And if we talk about CRM or Customer Relationship Management, and SAP has its own CRM or Customer Relationship Management. And then we can have various functions in it. It has marketing, sales, and service, and ability to reach customer through different channels. That is what basically this means. SAP also have another product that is called APO. APO basically means supply chain management. And so here we have we can have a different type of supply chain management or APO functions. and that is what you can have in SAP as well, which is SAP's advanced supply chain product. Then SAP NetWeaver. So we discussed and we talked about that there is something called SAP NetWeaver. Now, what is SAP NetWeaver? So we see here in the bottom, SAP NetWeaver is the name of SAP's platform. Okay. So here we can see that we have a web application server. Okay. And that is the name of SAP's platform. So SAP software lives in web application server. Now, apart from that, there are other products. There is a XI PI, that is SAP's middleware. There is a master data management, where you can do different kind of reporting. Then you have a business intelligence and in strategic enterprise management. That is basically SAP's reporting tool. So within that, you have different type of reporting. SAP also have an enterprise portal which allow you single sign-on, and then you have a mobile infrastructure, which basically means it allows you to have a different type of mobile devices. Okay. Now, how does SAP or any ERP work, and what does it do? Right? What does it do? And why this ERP or these components are basically critically important. So what all these ERP do? So there's input and there's output. So in SAP, you can have input of the different type of data and then output of different type of data. So ultimately, eventually, all those different ERP product has basically allows you to have a digital information. Now, what is the purpose of digital information? The entire goal of having all these different ERP system is basically ability to convert that information, okay, and that is basically is called in the picture, and then we can have here okay. So that is basically, we call it BI and BW. BI BW basically comes into SAP's central reporting platform, BI and BW. Okay. And basically, at the end of the day, all these different ERP products basically allow you to do performance management, understanding how my business is doing and helping to manage our business better. And our ability to manage the business better, that is the goal of all these different ERP products. Okay. So that is where all these different reporting tools come into the picture. Now that is where SAP HANA come into the picture. Now let's look at this carefully. So here we can have SAP HANA. Now what is SAP HANA? So SAP HANA, we can have it is SAP's in-memory processing platform. SAP HANA is name of SAP's database. This is SAP's in-memory processing database. It's a special type of database. Now, why this database? This database is basically coming into the picture because look at this picture carefully. 77 minutes to 13 seconds. That's not my slide. This is basically coming from SAP themselves. Now, what is the meaning of it? Meaning of this basically is that we are 77 minutes, which takes in a classical database with SAP S/4HANA because it is the latest technology of in-memory processing. the same information can be analyzed in 13 seconds to 77 minutes to 13 seconds. That degree of automation can be brought into SAP ecosystem. That is what this basically does for us. Okay. This is how SAP S/4HANA has evolved. So let us understand that evolution. So now here we have some of these. SAP HANA as a database was introduced in 2011. Then 2012, SAP HANA database was enabled on the backend for BW. That was the second database. Then we had basically SAP HANA enabled as a backend for SAP ERP. Okay. So that was another function which was done. Then in 2014, SAP came with a HANA-based application that is called Simple Finance. And then SAP came with something called SAP Simple Finance, SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA, as we discussed, is the fourth generation ERP of SAP. That is the latest ERP of SAP. Now, why this ERP? What does it do? What is the purpose? And 2000 times faster reporting and analytics. That degree of upgrade and changes this can bring to the table. Okay. That is what this basically means. And that is why SAP S/4HANA has been the latest and greatest ERP product of SAP ecosystem. Now, SAP also have other applications. Let's talk about them. Okay. So here, SAP also have a cloud applications as well. In the cloud application, it has SAP S/4HANA. And then we can also have a SAP C/4HANA, SAP Concur. That is another product for cloud-based CRM. And then there is a success factor, which basically allows you to have a central ERP product. So that is a success factor. Then SAP Ariba. There's another SAP's cloud-based application. Field Glass, which is SAP's another product for that. And then also we can define into the function as well. Okay. And then we can go back into this application. Okay. So these are the various functions as a part of cloud platform. Okay. And then here we have and these are some of the intelligent technologies. Now, SAP also have already for past several years now actually platform of AI, which is artificial intelligence, ML, which is machine learning, IoT, Internet of Things, and analytics. These are SAP's platform and new dimensional product which SAP has. And then SAP now also have a cloud application or cloud platform, or it also have a very strong artificial intelligence platform as well. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of it? So how does this platform look like? Okay. So now let us talk about this platform. So here, this is various. This is the architecture of SAP AI. So we see here on the bottom, there's a different SAP applications: financial, supply chain, HRM, spend, customer service, and these applications connect to data cloud, and then there's a platform of artificial intelligence where you have a financial agent and supply chain agent, HR agent, and etc. etc. Now, one question which a lot of people do ask, like how all these different AIs is impact on SAP. Impact of SAP AI on SAP is positive. Okay, positive. Now, why it is a positive? Because SAP is an application company. So they use all these different technologies to enhance their applications. So that basically means anytime a new technology comes, it gives a new repertoire of tools to SAP's portfolio. And that actually enhance and increase and better the portfolio of SAP. Okay. So that basically means and then that is where the SAP's AI platform come into the picture. This is how this evolution of SAP comes up. So in 1960s, 70s, 80s, we have personal computers and mainframe. The goal was automation, industrial automation. Then in 90s and 2000 came client-server technology and internet, and then it's become business process automation. Then cloud, mobile, and digital data came, and then goal become digital transformation. And then now SAP are coming with the intelligent technologies. It's called intelligent enterprise, where you have a machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, and various other things. Okay. Now, let us talk about SAP implementation. So last 55 minutes and so, I've been talking to you, SAP is this, SAP is that, and all that and all that. Well, SAP, although is immensely powerful, but there is no Harry Potter in SAP. There is no Harry Potter in SAP. Okay, so that basically means we can define all those different functions. Okay, so that basically coming into the picture. And now, if you understand this, and then he can. SAP is not the answer successful without extensive implementation and support. So last 53 minutes and so, I've been talking to SAP this, SAP is that, and all that. So SAP is immensely powerful, but SAP, there is no magic ball into SAP. Okay, so that basically means SAP has to be implemented correctly, and after implementation, it has to be supported correctly. Okay. Okay. So, and then we can have okay. So that is basically means the role of SAP consultant is critically important, because it is not the SAP software alone. It is actually the right implementation of SAP software which is critically important. And that is why the role of SAP consultant is very, very important. Okay. Now, how do we do the training? So let us talk about that. So it's a 4-step process. Step number 1 is training. Step number 2 is the training assessment services. Step number 3 is the resume preparation and marketing. Step number 4, on-job support. And the training happens Saturday and Sunday. Training duration is 70 to 80 hours, 10 weeks program. Training material in the PDF form will be provided by us. Training assignment and homework will be provided by us. SAP system access will be provided for 1 year. And I've been teaching SAP since 1998. Step 2, training assessment services. We can do mock interview and understand your conceptual understanding. We can verify your homework and assignment. And every student can re-attend the course for 1 year time frame. Step number 3 is the resume preparation. Okay. Okay. And then every student can re-attend the course for 1 year time frame, no additional fees. Step 3, resume preparation, marketing and placement. So help in developing resume, help in marketing resume and placement. And once you get placed, we also assist people on the job as well. Here I have
again, I thank you.
My channel. So you're very welcome to. So this is the name, Think T Technologies. My name, Dilip Sadh. And then if you go back here, then you will see there are a lot of videos which I have listed on, and then you're requested to subscribe, and I keep adding a lot of videos in the class, and then in this session, and you're welcome to these videos. You can, so various videos which I have on the channel. So please subscribe to it. Well, I have it last 12 years now. And then another thing is we can go back and then if I go to our website, so let me share that also. So if you go to our website, now here what I've done is, if you go on website on live courses, and we scroll here, then we can basically in the live courses, and then you have different live courses: SD, LE, WM, finance, production planning, and other modules. If you want any module, and if you want to understand the detail for every module, we put everything online, so it's easy to follow. And we have step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. Step number 1, what we do, what is the course curriculum, what are the fees. So there's a fees also here, and you want to download enroll now, and you can enroll that as well. And then similarly, if you go back, and then there is a and WM, so you can check and WM as well. If you want to go back, check for finance, you can check for finance, course curriculum. So all that information is specific to the module is listed on the site.